Now, today with me and my sister, we have our cousin. So we're increasing our
Hello.
family as we go. So
Way to go.
cousin, do you want to introduce
Wait, wait,
yourself?
wait. Wait, wait,
Wait,
wait.
stop. Okay.
I gotta, we're not increasing our family
We're increasing
because
our
that sounds
family
different.
presence on the show.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
You
There
gotta
you
get, yeah, you gotta make it right, buddy.
So, first of all, hey Jan, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Now, today with me and my sister, we have our cousin. So we're increasing our
Hello.
family as we go.
Way
So
to go.
cousin, do you want to introduce
Wait, wait,
yourself?
wait. Wait, wait,
Wait,
wait.
stop. Okay.
I gotta, we're not increasing our family
We're increasing
because
our
that sounds
family
different.
presence on the show.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
You
There
gotta
you
get, yeah, gotta make it right, buddy.
go.
Right. Because that could sound different. That sounds different.
Yeah.
Gonna make it right.
Okay, cousin, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Jensen. They call me Santa Rosa J. I'm from Detroit. I used to be I used to be a Washburn kid and everything, but now I'm down here in Atlanta. Uh that's it. I'm here.
Okay. Hey, what I want to know is what do all those shirts mean behind you?
This is representing my city. I'm a Detroit native. That was Detroit, that's everybody. When I moved to Atlanta, everybody was a Braves fan. So, I started had to rep my city all the time. It was Atlanta this, Atlanta this, Atlanta, Atlanta. So I was like, okay, well, I'll show them what I'm about. So it's Detroit versus everybody. The up top is the Barry Sanders with all the players' names from Detroit. You got the Red Wings. You got my DNA from Detroit. You got the Michigan Tigers. You got this one right here,
Ah, yeah.
made,
Mhm.
made in Detroit. Of course, the Lions, and this one right here. I watched the Wolverines on Saturday and the Lions on Sunday. And then this one of my favorites. Just a kid from Detroit. Yeah.
I
I
want
got one in
that
the
one.
corner. You can't see the one in the corner. Let me move it around for you. That right there, that's the west side of
Oh,
Detroit. Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
West
West
Side.
got all the streets and everything. So yeah. So yeah, that's
Is,
me.
is your street on that one?
Well, it's not. It's like 6 mile, 5 mile,
Oh, okay.
all that,
Okay.
and then I got the world famous one.
Oh, the what up,
Oh,
though?
what up, though? Yes, what up, though? Because you do have people that are saying "What up, though," and I'll be like, "What does that mean?" They can never tell me. They
Um,
they
when
heard Young Jeezy
people,
singing in a rap song.
yeah, when people
So,
find out I'm from Detroit, they'll always say, what's that thing y'all say? I'm like, are you meaning what up, though? Like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So they heard it on some radio show or something.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, but yeah, and then they want to know what it means and all that stuff. Like, if you're not from there, it's not for you. This ain't we
Right,
ain't talking to
right. Because you have different people with like, what what up, though? What up, do? No, leave it alone.
Yeah,
Just
just
leave it alone. Yeah.
don't worry about it.
Right.
So look, we
Yes,
all
sir.
grew up in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up on Washburn. You said you lived on Washburn for a while. Then you said they call you Santa Rosa J. Now, why do they call you Santa Rosa J?
Because I once I moved from Washburn, we moved to Ohio, lived on Ohio, I think it was. Then we moved to Santa Rosa, and I was at corner house on Santa Rosa. So I saw everything on Santa Rosa. So everything that went down. which was nothing really because it was like 8 houses on each
It
block.
was. That was a small
I mean,
block.
on each side rather, so this block was just super short. And so I just picked up the name Santa Rosa J.
Which house did you like the best?
I can't really remember. I just remember Washburn being just me, my mom, my dad, and Jill, my dog.
Oh yeah.
So I was, and then I could run across the street to you guys' house all the time. And then we moved to Santa Rosa. I got kind of mad when we moved to Santa Rosa because I couldn't run across the street. So me and you, we used to meet halfway, which was
Yeah.
Green Lawn,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
exchange shirts, and then walk all the way back. So it was like actually a whole mile to walk. Yeah. So all right, I'll probably give it to Santa Rosa.
Okay. Because we never moved. We lived in the same house
Right. Right.
my whole life, at
Right.
least.
Right.
Um, so we didn't have any really other addresses that we moved to. But I do remember walking to Santa Rosa a lot, walking
Yeah.
over to your house. It was about a mile.
Yeah. It was about a
Kids
mile.
shouldn't be walking. They don't let kids do that nowadays, just be outside
Mm-mm.
walking
They don't
by
want to walk. They don't
themselves.
want to. They want to stay in the house. They don't want to even go come outside.
Yeah, well, that's because I think we made them stay in the house, though.
Uh,
Like
I,
we're all, how we are.
well, you know,
But
Ooh,
look,
it's too scary out there.
it's terrible.
but is it though?
No.
I mean, if you're on your block, you should be all right, But
You
when
should be.
when you leave your block, but you never know what these kids are doing nowadays, especially like on social media.
Yeah.
Everything a lot of kids have beef, what you call it, on social media. So when they do see them out on the street, then it's a whole different thing, and you don't even know what's going on.
That'll be a good episode to do because I don't know how you can be mad at somebody. First of all, you never met.
Right, right,
And I see people in the comments sometimes on stuff, and they're just going back and forth and back and forth. You don't
yeah,
even know this person.
right, yeah,
No, but I think it's easier because you don't know the person and because there's like this distance away. Like, people have a lot of courage when like nobody's going
exactly,
show up
yeah,
at your front door.
exactly.
Like when, I mean, when we were younger, like, you don't say something about somebody, and to get back to that person, they gonna meet you on the playground, they coming to your
They
house. Like,
come
I mean,
on the
it's like,
street, yeah,
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 yeah, yeah. So it's that's we should do an episode about that because I think that's crazy. And it's like old people.
yeah.
Like
Old
it's
people.
not always I expect it from teenagers because they're teenagers. They don't know. Why is a 40-year-old having beef with somebody on the internet? That's crazy talk to me.
Yeah, I don't understand either.
But look, so we all grew up in Detroit. Um, and you had like family from your father's side also in Detroit. We had family from our father's side also in Detroit. But one of my favorite memories is when your cousins from your father's side and us would just get together.
Yeah, that was
Um,
Tueka and Tweeta and
yeah,
Ashley and
mhm.
and just
Quanda.
going over their house like
Yeah,
they were our cousins in a way.
right.
That's
Yeah.
some of my favorite times. My least favorite time was when we all went down south on the bus.
Hey,
Honestly, the bus ride was not that bad. It was like when we got there because unlike Jansen, like we didn't go down south all the time. Like even though we're all like our parents are all from the same town,
Our
like
parents
on the
are
mother
all from
and
the same
father
town.
side, like they're all from the
right.
same town. So that's kind of unique as well
Right.
too. But we didn't go as much as they went. And so the bus ride was fine. It was a long bus ride, but we had some good time. Again, would we do that today? All those
No,
young
we were children.
kids
Right.
on the bus.
We had no had no choice, right?
But they put like 5 kids on a bus.
On a bus, and I think, and one of them was a baby at the time, like a toddler or something, to sit this time
So, and
bus.
It was like all of y'all go together.
I felt sorry for, I think it was maybe Tweeta, whoever was the oldest.
The Tweety was, I think Tweety's the oldest, and then Twaka,
Could they,
and then
she was
Anthony. I
in
think
essence,
it was Kwanda was the baby when we took that bus ride.
she was in essence looking after all of us as
Right,
Yeah.
maybe a 12-year-old.
right, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
that was a job
yeah.
for a
Yeah.
kid.
She was used
There,
to.
I want everybody to realize there was no cell phones.
Right.
No, no.
So our parents didn't really know where we were.
We
I mean,
were
they
till
knew
we
we were
got
on the bus
to Alabama.
till we got to Alabama. That was like the worst time for, as soon as we got there, I was ready to go home. I was
Yeah.
like, no, I'm not staying here. I'm a city boy. I like the city. The country does nothing for me. I need it, I mean, I
Right,
guess we still did the same things. I mean, we were kids, so all you can do is go outside and play. It's not like
right, yeah,
go to the mall or anything. I mean, we were little kids.
yeah.
I just felt like I needed to be back in Detroit. So
That's
listen, we have all left Detroit at some point.
right.
Why did you leave?
I just didn't see myself there anymore. I see myself going down the wrong path. Hanging with my buddies in the street, and remind you that what the five that I hung with, three of them are dead now.
Oh,
Yeah, so
were
it was
these people on Santa Rosa?
no. Mark was the only one that was on Santa Rosa. The
Okay.
other one was on Globe, two on Globe, and Cedric's. I think Cedric stayed further down Livernois at that time. But we all hung out on Globe around the corner.
Okay.
So yeah, and I started making bad decisions. So I did it on my own. I'm almost like said I ran away because I left mom a letter and I
Oh,
was gone. And then a lot of people don't know it. I went to New York first,
Mm.
and I stayed in New York for like a month, and then my cousin was like, "Oh, you gotta get out of here because your dad ain't about to jump me." So everybody was scared of my dad. So and they knew if anything happened to me, he was coming after them. So we ended up moving. They ended up getting ready to move to Alabama. So I was like, I'm not moving to Alabama. You can't hit that up. So we stopped through. It was in a moving truck. We stopped through to Atlanta, and that's how I ended up here. They was like, well, I said, well, I'll drive y'all to Atlanta, then y'all gotta drive yourself. And then that's what I did. I drove them to Atlanta, and they drove from Atlanta to Mobile, and
did
they
you
dropped me off.
have somebody in Atlanta?
Yeah, I had cousins here.
Okay.
My cousin that was from Alabama, they was living in Atlanta. So I knocked on it. It was like 4 in the morning. I knocked on their door. they was, she was like, "Who is it?" I was like, "It's Jensen." It was like Jensen. They call me Jensen here. Jensen. I was like, "No, it's Jensen." Like it's 4 in the morning. I was like, "Well, you said I could come and stay anytime I wanted to." I said,
So
"Yeah,
your
I am."
cousins didn't know you were coming?
Nah, they didn't know.
Oh, that's young people stuff, just
Yeah,
showing
I was like,
up.
what, nine? No, yeah, about 20. I think I was 20. Yeah. So yeah, I ended up being in Atlanta, and every year I was like, I'm moving back home. I'm moving back home. And every year my mom would be like, don't come home. Don't
Oh,
come home. I was like, why not? It was like such got killed. I was like, I'm coming home. She was like, don't come home. Then the next year came,
oh,
come home. Such got killed. Don't come home. So I ain't come home for like 3 years before I got a chance to really come home.
okay.
And that's when White Mark, me and him was talking, and he was like, "It's not the same, man." He said, "You probably did the best thing, you know." Yeah, here I am.
Yeah, those were some hard years. So somebody's gonna, and we don't need to explain who White Mark is because we all know who White Mark is.
Right. Yeah.
But somebody listening will be like, well, who's White Mark? Why they have so the other
Because because we had it was two marks. One was white, one was black. So we call White Mark, one Black Mark.
I want to preface this by saying White Mark lived in the neighborhood
Yeah, yeah. Mark,
with,
White,
I mean, it's not
White,
like White Mark came from the suburbs to hang
no,
out.
White,
White
White
Mark
Mark
lived
was
down the street.
White Mark was my best friend.
Yeah.
We did everything together. We everywhere we went. If you didn't see me, you saw him. When you saw me, you saw him. If you saw him, you saw me. I would go to the schools, and because he went to a private school, I used to go to the schools, and everybody was scared of me because
Mm.
he Mark was like, "Yo, he went to Central, Central right here, Detroit Central. That's one of the roughest schools in the city." And so when I walk into school, everybody was like, "Oh, that must be White Mark's friend."
Central was the first school I knew that had metal detectors.
It was rough. Well, I think my parents don't know, but I fought every day my 10th grade year,
Wow.
every day except for Saturdays and Sunday. It was
That's
rough.
crazy.
Wow.
Hey, so getting back, Jen, why did you leave Detroit?
So initially, of course, it was to go away to school, you know, stayed there longer than I anticipated. Then got married and then moved, even further away to Chicago, because I still was in Michigan. I just was in Kalamazoo. And, and the person that I was married to at the time went into ministry and was assigned a church, and that's how we ended up in Indiana. So I went from Michigan to Chicago to Indiana, um, and then he got a new assignment that brought us back to Detroit. The plan wasn't really to come back to Detroit; it just kind of worked out that way. I mean, I think I am like, even though I've been here, almost 20 years, back 20 years,
Mm.
I didn't really intend to come back. That
Mm.
was not, my goal. It just kind of worked out that way. And just, life stuff, now I'm married, I got a child, we're divorced, but we got a child together, and I mean, just all of this stuff. So, I mean, so for me, as I think about retirement, I really think about retirement outside of Michigan. But
I
that's how I ended up here.
I as a kid, I just kept saying if I live long enough, because everybody was dying, just dying, dying, dying. Um, for no reason. I mean, now they make movies about, I think it's like some shows on Stars about Detroit and, some of the things going on in Detroit at the time. So it probably seems really glamorous when people talk to me about whoever that was. It was not glamorous. You were scared to go to school. You're scared to, you know, come home. They're stealing shoes off your feet. I remember thinking if
Mhm.
I ever get out of here, if I live to see the day, I'm out. So I've never lived in Detroit as an adult. My children have, but I haven't. That's crazy, right? I've never lived in Detroit as an adult. So once I got out, I just went. Once I moved to the first place, and not counting Kalamazoo College, but once I moved to DC, I discovered how easy it was to move. Like you just pack up your stuff and show up at somebody's house at 4 a.m. if you want to. You just pack up your stuff and go. So I moved around a lot because I wanted to see the world differently. I wanted to see, more than just, Washburn or whatever. And I did. I did get a chance to see a whole bunch of stuff, saw different types of people, met all different types of people. One thing I learned is that there's some generalities about Black people that are true. They're the cadence which we speak, no matter how old you are or what state you're in, there's some things that I might say that every Black person will understand.
Yeah.
And then there are things that are just regional, like what up, though? Like if that's, so I got to learn a lot. And I do think about coming back sometimes, and then I get reports like it's 10 degrees outside. And I'm not, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not shoveling snow. But I do think about going back sometime. Jansen, do you think about going back?
Yeah, I think about it because my mom's still there. So I think about her a lot, whenever I go home and see her. And then she'll look at me and be like, "You don't want to come back home?" No, yeah. I used to be like, no, instantly, no. Now I'll be like, yeah, she older now, But then I'll talk to her on the phone when I call her up, and she'd be like, "Oh, they doing all this killing up here, and oh, it's so crazy." And I'll be like, you know what? I'm all right where I'm at. I'll just stay here. I'll be thinking about leaving Atlanta though, but other than that, yeah, I don't think I can move back.
You know what, Ernest, you talked a little earlier about like the fear of kind of growing up with the fighting and
Hmm.
the robbing and the stuff that happened to kids. Like, like I don't, our kids aren't familiar with that
Mm-mm.
life at all. But I did want to say, because as we were talking about doing this episode, one of the things I thought about as it relates, I mean, this incident that I remember clearly, we talked about like how we used to walk back and forth from Santa Rosa to
Hmm.
Washburn. Like we did that like all the time.
Right.
I remember there was this one time you and Jansen were walking. You had been over at Santa Rosa and y'all were coming back to Washburn. I think Jansen was going to spend the night. And as you were like at that corner, remember the corner by Service Drive,
Hmm.
coming to, it's like that little street. I think it's Midland or whatever. You guys are coming and you guys get stopped by the police.
Hmm.
And I remember like watching out of the window, like,
Oh.
oh my God, like I'm still a kid myself, but I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? Because like I don't know, I don't remember if they patted you guys down, but I do remember they detained you all for a minute, and nobody, no adult was at home,
Mm.
and I don't know, do you guys remember that at
I
all?
do.
But
Hmm.
um, like I said, I don't remember if they patted you down, but I do remember them getting out of the car. I guess they were asking you all a whole lot of questions about like, where were you going? Like, I mean, clearly you're going home. Like
Yeah.
this is, you know, I
Yeah.
mean, but I do remember that, and that gave me, some fear. Like, I don't know that as a girl I experienced the same kind of fears, but I do remember like the presence of the Detroit police at that particular time because there was so much, crime and killing and stuff going on. Like, you know, young men got stopped all the time.
I remember that officer was the whitest white man I had ever seen. And
Yeah,
growing up in Detroit, I didn't see a lot of white people.
right.
Not, not at school, not, we're talking about white Mark, but for our purposes, he was just a black guy who
Yeah,
happened to be
you.
white.
I mean, because you wouldn't know he was white until you talked till you actually seen him. If you talked to him on
Yeah.
the phone or something like that, you'd swear it down that he was black.
Yeah. So, not having, but I remember the police being really overly white growing
Yeah,
up when I was growing up in Detroit. And I would wonder where they lived.
and
Mhm.
they was rough. And
Yeah,
they our police was real rough. They didn't play all that hanging out in the
they
street.
surely
You
Yeah,
did
got
no,
not.
no,
you got
no hanging
scared.
out.
Yeah, you would get scared hanging. If you got caught out there, oh, it was bad for you. Yeah,
Which is another reason I'm like, there has to be another way of living, you know. But some of the things we're talking about, I mean, I'm sure it happened in every city.
right.
I
Yeah.
hear people in LA talking about the 80s and the 90s and how rough it was. And when I lived in DC, they would talk about it.
Mhm.
So those kind of killings and stuff go on everywhere.
Right. Right.
Um, you know, you hear a lot about Chicago and how bad it is. And then
It's Chirac. They call it
yeah,
Chirac.
Chirac,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Uh-huh.
when people talk about that, I'm like, you know, Chicago's over 50% white. Do you think that those people are scared to walk out their houses? Because they're not.
I think it's the side of the town that they live in. You know, I
Yeah.
think because I think one friend he from Chicago. I think the South Side is real bad. You know, so that's where all the crime is. You know, and everything is. But I'm quite sure it's crime over there on the
I'm
west
sure
side.
it's crime everywhere.
Yeah,
It's just
and
how it's
Atlanta
portrayed.
is yeah, Atlanta is crucial. It's they knuckleheads here, boy. They don't. It's crazy here. It is. You know. Then
So
I
let's
know
talk
LA is.
about, go ahead.
No, I was saying I know LA is. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it really
right,
depends on where you are, what you're
right.
doing, who you're with.
Yeah,
You know, so like Jan was saying, our kids don't know anything about that. It's not the life they had to live. And they
right,
ain't walk anywhere, to be honest.
right. Yeah, right.
They
No
never walk
walking.
anywhere.
Yeah. No
Yeah.
walking, no catching the city bus, no.
Oh
Uh-uh.
man. Oh, they definitely don't know about that city bus, boy.
Not at all.
The
Especially the Detroit bus.
Right. That was our
wait,
school bus.
wait.
That was the
That was
school
our
bus.
school bus.
That was our
Yeah,
school bus.
exactly.
We had no bus pull up on the
That
street.
Wyoming bus, or
That
I don't
Finkel,
know if it's coming
that Finkel bus was, if it's full, it's gonna shoot right
Oh
ooh,
yeah, for
right
sure.
past.
And it was full a lot of the
all the
time.
time.
Now,
Yeah.
the Puritan bus, and I've said this before, I've seen it one time in my entire life that I've seen that bus
I've
come.
never catched it. I always just caught that Finkel bus. That was it. I would catch
I
no
saw
other
the Puritan bus coming, and I was so
bus.
amazed. I was like, I got off the Greenfield bus, got on the Puritan bus because I had never seen it before.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting on this bus.
Yeah. I've caught the Finkel and the living noise bus. And the 8 Mile. I used to catch the bus going over Anthony House.
Okay.
Yeah, and he would meet me. Yeah, so once we figured that out, we was like, you know what, we riding our bikes now. Yeah, so we would ride our bikes just like me. Used to walk halfway,
Yeah.
we'll ride the bikes halfway. Yeah, West you meet. I can't remember where we used to meet at, but it was halfway from the west side and the east side, and then
Okay.
we'd
Okay.
ride and he'd turn around and I'll keep on rolling. And we get home, like I said, we didn't have cell phones. So
No
it
cell
is what
phone.
it is. Hopefully you made it home.
Hopefully. So we talked about Detroit, how Detroit was, at least for us growing up. How is it now? Because I've seen videos of downtown. The population is different. The prices of homes are skyrocketing. So how is it living in Detroit now? And it's, I just know a lot of people are moving to Detroit for this great opportunity of being in Detroit, which is the opposite of what happened when we were kids. How is
Mhm.
it living there now?
I
I
don't really
mean,
know. I'm sorry.
oh,
I
I
don't
was
really
gonna
know
say
because I don't go out.
I live outside of Detroit, so but I do know like there's a lot of stuff happening in the downtown area.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of build up in different areas. We see a lot of rebuilding on what we knew as the Avenue of Fashion, so Livernois, you know, them building that back up. So you got a lot of small businesses, in particular Black businesses. The makeup, I'm gonna be honest, sometimes when I'm out and about in different areas, because even where I am has been predominantly Black. Like it's not predominant. I mean, like we're seeing a lot of
Mhm.
different cultures, ethnicities, and all of that, which has been interesting. I mean, I think that there are still some places that Detroit is devastated, by the bankruptcy. Like, people haven't been able to recover. People lost their homes. The homes just sat there and now they're
Mm.
decaying and stuff. So you still see that, happening. You got a lot of, I guess, realtor moguls, those kinds of people
Mm.
that are coming in, swooping in, taking all, buying up all these houses and flipping them, but they're still not. Um, necessarily back to their former glory because I mean I think about like some of the like remember growing up on Washburn and even Santa Rosa, despite what was happening, in the larger city, like those were really nice streets. Like everybody
Yeah,
knew you, we knew our neighbors and
Yeah, I know
yeah.
everybody
everybody.
kept up their stuff and like I mean, so so I think that in some areas, not all areas, in some areas, like they haven't been able to rebuild back to that, level. So it'll be interesting because a lot of it has been focused on downtown or midtown, the areas around the university or the hospitals, and like you haven't seen it like really come out widespread, um, where most of us live.
Okay. I've seen a lot. There's a show on HGTV with the two men who flipped the houses. Jansen, have you
Oh
seen
yeah.
that show? They
Yeah,
flip houses in Detroit.
I haven't seen the
All
one
of the
for
houses look
Detroit.
like your house on Santa Rosa.
Right. Yeah. I haven't seen that. I watch HGTV. That's my favorite channel. But I haven't seen the one with from Detroit. I'm
It's
gonna have to look it up
called,
now.
I can't think of the name of it,
Hmm.
but I'm gonna think about it and send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something to block.
Okay.
Property block? No, I don't know. I'll think of it and I'll send it to you. But all the houses that they flip look like your house looked on Santa Rosa.
Really?
The same
Okay. Yeah.
size and everything. So I'm
Right.
thinking that's the area that they're in.
I probably know the streets when I was saying some of
Probably,
the.
because I
I
look,
watched some of the
they never
movies.
show like the street name
Right.
or
Yeah.
anything,
Name, yeah.
Right.
but
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's where they are.
Well, and the one thing as it relates to them, so I do think that there are people like them, like they're rehabbing these houses, but they're also trying to make them affordable for first-time
And
buyers.
they, I mean, to me, they're affordable. I think they're
Hmm.
selling them like for 100,000 or something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Which it seems affordable to me, but
Yeah, and they are consciously trying to also um, bring up the comps,
yeah,
in those areas as well. So they'll tackle like a whole block, of
Right.
yeah.
abandoned houses. And so not only is it helping first time buyers, but it's helping that whole, neighborhood. And there are some others out there, like there's some that aren't necessarily on HGTV, but I've seen like on YouTube, there's some people doing some similar kinds of things. So it is out there. I think it's just because of the decades of devastation, it's going to
Yeah.
take a while.
So let's get into our rapid fire questions.
Wow, that was fast.
And it gets faster every time because I think we know what we're doing a little bit more as we keep doing it. What is your favorite Detroit monument or place?
Hello.
Bilal. Or as
Right.
we say, Bilal.
Allow,
Hello.
allow.
Is that yours too,
So
Jan?
I was gonna, so place, yes, I was thinking that's what I instantly thought about that because that to me is like a hidden treasure. Like it's it is by far one of the best parks around. Like, like you got that man-made little water thing,
Yep.
you got a lot of botanical gardens and stuff like that. Then of course places for, it's just really, really nice. I don't think people realize how nice that is. But my other, when I was thinking about this, a couple of a couple of my favorite places, and maybe they're not my favorites, I just have good memories of them, was because they're not don't exist anymore, is the Olympia Stadium.
Okay. That
Because that's where we went to
I
see
was
Parliament.
I was telling somebody that the other day. And I was like, remember Jensen they had them big flashlights. And again, we were kids going to a concert,
Right, right.
like with adults.
Yes, like got dropped off, and it was like a whole bunch of adults there too. Like we were just kids.
Yeah,
We were kids, right, right.
So, but I also, but because that was like my first like real concert that I
yeah.
saw. I mean, before when we used to go there, we would go see. That's where the Red Wings used
The
to
Red
play.
Wings used to play,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, but so that is one of my favorite places, and then the Mercury Theater.
Oh yeah.
Just
Yeah,
because we went there, like now
All the
that
time.
all
right.
the time, yes, all
Yeah,
the time. Again, getting dropped
Like
off,
or walking. We used to walk to
or
the
yeah,
Mercury
right.
Theater.
I
yeah.
Just
remember
a group
going
of
to
kids.
the Fago plant and watch them make the Fago, and they
Oh
Yeah.
keep
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fagos at the end of the warehouse. Yeah, I tell people about that. I was like, hey, yeah, Fago. I remember Fagos and Jay's chips, so
And
better
Jay.
made.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to have today, some Jay's Chip. My favorite monument, I think, is at the Thinkers, the thing at City Hall, the man sitting there.
Oh, with the
Well, it's
whole
called the Spirit of
Yeah,
yeah,
Detroit. The
it's
Spirit of
spirit of
Detroit.
the
Detroit.
spirit of
Yeah,
each. So that's how I know that, you
in
know,
Detroit.
yeah. Like when
Yeah,
I used to
and with the fist too.
drive
The one with the
in the
fist.
fist, in the Joe
Yeah,
Louis fist,
Joe
yeah.
Louis
Yeah,
fist.
But when I used to drive, like when I used to fly in, you used to see the big
the
tire.
tire.
Yeah,
So
the
that's
Michelin
how I knew I
tire.
was home.
Yeah, yeah,
When I used to drive in, like when I lived in DC and I'd drive through Ohio, then you get to that sign that says "Welcome to Michigan," and you never get so happy
right.
seeing
You're like,
that
oh,
sign. So those
I
are my
made
favorite.
it. I finally made it.
Finally made it. And if I had to pick a place, it would have to be Northland Roller Rink.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh
Because
yeah.
we went skating
Every
all
All the
Friday.
the
time.
time.
Every
Every
Friday.
Friday. Every
That's
Friday we
but
went.
remember when we were younger kids, we went on Saturday morning.
Yes, we
Yeah.
did. Yep.
As
Right.
we got
Yeah.
older, we went on Friday night. We went
Hey,
Right.
skating every
but
week.
and
Every
I
week.
used to go to was it roller on 8 Mile?
Was that Wheels?
Wheels.
Wheels, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really go there.
I used to go there on Sundays with my cousin, me and Anthony.
Ah,
Yeah, that was different. It's
yeah.
like everybody knew I was from the West Side, So I used to have to I tell you it was rough because I was both sides. I was West Side and the East Side. And I remember my cousin Anthony was saying, hey, look, you come over here, you gotta fight. I was
Man.
like, fight for what? He was like, because you're from the West Side and everybody know you're from the West. I was like, it's like you carry yourself differently than East Side.
You know what's funny? I read somewhere it was people on the internet talk Detroiters. While we were thinking the West Side was rough, the East Side was
I
thinking
was thinking
we
the
were
West Side. I've heard that. I've heard like, oh, you grew up on the West Side. I'm like,
They don't even know
yeah.
that East Side was nothing to play with. Boy.
at all. Hey, what do you like most about Detroit?
The food. I miss my chili cheese fries. As soon as I get to Detroit, I go straight to Coney Island.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
just love me some Coney chili cheese. I had the little white bag when I knock on my mom's door. She like, she like, you had to stop at Coney Island first. I said, you know it, the corned beef sandwiches from Lou's,
Oh,
the pizza in Greek Town. Uh, I miss just being on my block and just I knew everybody on the block and we all played together and
yeah.
with no issues, with nothing. Everybody was outside until it was time to go inside.
Yeah.
So that's a wonderful time then.
Yeah. Jan.
For me, I think. that. What I like most about Detroit is that we are never say die. Like we are never say die. Like no matter like you always know who the Detroiters are, no matter where they are in the country, because we are never say die. Like we rep our city. We can uh like Jansen, what you've been going about what 20, 30 years and he's still repping like it doesn't matter. Like we are never say die about our city. Good, bad, or indifferent. It's our city. We love it. Um, and we want to see the best come out of it. But I'm like, never say die. Never say
I don't think I appreciated it until I left.
die.
So I think what I miss the most is just the people. Because those people, there you can try to, you know, do whatever you want to them, they still gonna survive. You can close the plants, well, we'll think of something else. You,
Right.
tear your house down, well, I'll build another one. Move here, I'll do this. But Detroiters are gonna Detroit, no matter where they are in the world.
You survivors.
We're
Yeah.
survivors.
Yeah.
And that's what I miss the
Yeah.
most about Detroit. So what don't you like about Detroit?
Hmm. I don't know. I never really thought about what I didn't like. I just didn't want to be a product of the environment of the killing and stuff that was going on coming up. I mean, because I grew up with YBIs and
Hmm.
FAs, PAs, and stuff like that. So it wasn't Bloods and Crips. It was this was something totally different. You know, and I remember getting when people used to think I was part of the FA. I was like, no, they were like, you guys look alike. I was like, that's not me. It's like me. I want to still be able to walk to school. Don't be telling people, that's me because it wasn't. So I think that's what it was just rough, just coming up, and, but it changed me to be who I am today.
Jan.
I'm trying to, I guess the thing that I, I don't like when certain things overshadow all the good things about, our city. For instance, like the bankruptcy. Like, I'm like, the fact that had to happen and different things like the blight and stuff like that. Like probably a couple months ago, when we hosted the football draft
Yeah.
and there was this sports um commentator who I used to like until he started talking about my city.
That's why I don't like
So
Michael Jordan, by the way, because he
yeah,
always
like
has
I'm like
something
he
smart to
started
say
talking.
about Detroit.
Yeah, he started talking about our
well,
our city,
well,
and
we
so
embarrassed them.
he was talking about the fact that, like I said, like the downtown area, they're clearly doing a lot of building or whatever, but basically he was like the rest of the city is trash. I'm like, you do not understand the devastation that the people that have been here and stayed here have had to go through different administrations, through a closing of plants, losing jobs and all of the above. Like, we saw a shift in the factory workers, them wanting more college educated
Mhm.
people. So that took out a whole bunch of people that would have been able to get those jobs right out of high school. Not to saying that you can't, but just like all of those things take a toll on the livelihood of people at large. But again, we're resilient. So yeah, I don't like when people talk about our city.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like that either. But what I
Yeah.
don't like the most is the weather. Remember they used to say, "Oh, that's Michigan weather for you." Like
Yeah,
you leave your house in the morning, it's 60, 70 degrees. By lunchtime, it's 20 degrees. The
Yeah.
next day is 50. Like, give me just one thing and let me work with that. You got to always carry a jacket with you. Yeah.
yeah.
So that's one thing I don't miss. And if there's anything that would make me not move back, it would be that. So
Yeah.
that's it. That's the end of our episode. Jansen, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Maybe you'll come back again.
Of course, hey, I like this. I probably have a different background. Yeah, have a different background.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
give me one of them backgrounds too.
And,
'Cause I
I'm
do.
gonna send you I'll send you the link because all it
Okay.
is you just your old shirts and then you cut the sleeves of the back out and you send the shirts to them and they'll send a label and they'll do it. This is like a twin size, so they have twin
Okay.
queen
Oh, that's
and
cool.
right, yeah. So I always had a lot of shirts, so I was like, okay, I don't wear these shirts no more, or they have faded
mhm.
out a little bit. So yeah,
Yeah. I'm not cutting my Detroit versus everybody shirt though. I wear that everywhere.
well, actually, I got another. I have a, I have another one, so this one was all right.
All right. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for
Thank you. Hey,
joining us. Have a
thanks for
great
having
day.
me. Thanks for having me.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Jan.